Hello, my name is Oscar Cepeda. I'm the associate planner here with the city of Porterville. I'm going to go ahead and start project review committee for August 3rd, 2022 at 1:34 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and do roll call. Again, myself, Oscar Cepeda, the associate planner within the community development department. We're also joined by Jeff O'Neill, the interim city planner. We're also joined by Clayton Dignam, the city's fire marshal. We're also joined by James Wickersham, the chief building inspector. We're also joined by Donnie Moore from Parks, and David Payne also joins us from Field Services. We're also joined by Sarah Weaver from the engineering and project management department. I think that is all from staff. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and open the oral communications. This is the opportunity for members of the public to address the committee on any matter pertaining to project review committee. Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and close oral communications. So for project review committee, we do have two items. We're going to go ahead and start with item number 1. And we do have the applicant and the agent here present with us, Alex Ceballos and Sharon Johnson.
This is Alex. Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, Alex.
I'm Sharon. I'm here.
Thank you, Sharon. So we have the first item on today's agenda, which is PRC number 2022-017 for the Crayola Corner expansion. So I'm going to go ahead and present comments from the planning department in regards to the expansion of the use there. Now, the use is classified as a daycare center. And as far as the use, currently it's not a allowable use for today's development standards. But again, it was an established use that was established previously through a conditional use permit. Now, in order to expand a non-conforming use, we would have to go through the modification of that previously approved conditional use permit in order to expand the project within that property. So as far as the fees associated with the modification, it is a fee of $150, which we would have to be submitted and with an application. We will require to take this item for city council to again approve the expansion of a non-conforming use. But as far as that's pretty much our comments from planning. It's just basically processing the modification of the already approved conditional use permit to allow an expansion of the use for that property. Another comment that they do have here is in regards to the accessory structures. Of course, any modification or building of accessory structures would have to be architecturally compatible with the existing development. If there's any mechanical equipment, it shall be screened. Any trash enclosures, if it's a requirement, just comply with our Porterville development ordinance. But as far as that's all the comments from planning at this time. Does the applicant or agent have any questions for planning?
I don't have any.
No, neither do I.
Thank you. So we're going to go ahead and continue with Clayton with the fire department.
For the fire department, we'll need plans to be submitted for either the installation or modification of the required fire alarm system. Fire extinguishers shall be placed to comply with the currently adopted edition of the California Fire Code, and then NOx access will be required for the property. And that's pretty much it. Are there any questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, Clayton. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I have a question. So the current building is not a fire, it doesn't have a fire sprinkler system?
No, it's the fire alarm system.
Oh, fire alarm. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the fire alarm. Yeah, it is not required to have sprinklers, even if you were building it today under that size.
Okay, I misunderstood, so thank you for clarifying.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, Clayton. Moving along with building, James.
Hey, Oscar, I'm sorry to interrupt, but does it show me in the waiting room to get into the meeting?
Oh, let me see. Hold on. Got you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Michael.
Can you hear me, Oscar?
Oh, yes, go ahead, James.
Is there any way to pull up the site plan?
Oh, yeah, of course. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay, great. So the comments that I have would be standard on submitting plans. Alex is aware of.
You know, I can't hear him.
Can you guys hear me?
James, a little bit louder, please.
Can you guys hear me now?
Faintly.
Sorry about that.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, my only comments one of my comments would be just on standard submittal. Alex is aware of the submittal process, either e-submittal or hard copies.
Oscar, move us to the site plan, please.
So the area in the back there, it says existing parking. Yeah. Is that just dedicated for the area there, that's the addition area, or is that the whole site parking?
It's my understanding that's the whole site parking.
Okay. And Sharon, the only thing I'm thinking of is, ADA upgrades. So I didn't know if there was an existing ADA stall back there, or is there any ADA parking on site at all existing?
I believe there is. I would have to check on whether it's compliant to today's standard or not, but I believe there is a stall back there for ADA.
It is. It originally was painted and dedicated for a handicap, but as time has gone on, of course, it's faded out. So I guess you could say originally, yes. And could it be rededicated to ADA? I would say yes.
Okay, well, that'll be just one of the comments, in the ADA code section. There's an extra percentage dollar amount that the code requires for barrier removals. So that's one thing that we would just look at during plan review, is any upgrades that could be done to the existing site. Other than that, that's just a comment that I had, but I have no other comments. You're on mute, Oscar.
Thank you, James. Next with engineering with Sarah.
Thank you. I actually was not given any comments from Javier or Daniel on this one. So unfortunately, I don't have much to share beyond our standard, which is during plan review. Depending on the evaluation of the project, we'll do an assessment of the public improvements to see if anything needs to be brought up to code or for access for ADA from the path of travels to the new area. And that's all I have to share. Are there any questions on that one?
I guess just a question that could be, might relate back to James. Now that's being brought up by Sarah. So obviously the existing building, it's a raised floor foundation and there's nothing to be done in there. However, the proposed addition that we're doing, it'll obviously gonna trigger some ADA. I'm just curious to what the city city's understanding is. Are we able to provide the accessible path of travel up to the new addition and that would suffice, or are we gonna have to do any more upgrades beyond that?
How does the business work? The back area where the addition is,
I'm in a meeting right now, so you guys gotta figure that out. Either.
the back area where the addition is being proposed
Gonna have to put whatever's back there.
is if you pull up to drop off your kid, can you go to just that area or you have to go to the main building?
You know, I'm sorry, I missed that. You're asking whether or not there's direct access from that parking area to where the classroom will be.
Well, I was asking like how the business works. So if someone goes to drop off their kid in the morning in the alley area, do they have to go to the main building to meet staff, or how does that work?
Well, for the addition, it will not require anyone to come through the main front entrance. That particular area, based on how the state operates in terms of licensing, require that particular unit because of the use that I'm looking for. It's going to require a whole separate entryway, as well as giving the parent the opportunity to sign in and out from that area.
Okay. Then yeah, most of the path to travel, Alex and Sharon would just be to the new area there, that east building.
On property, that is, it would still trigger an evaluation of the public improvements.
Right, yeah, I was asking mostly on property, yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, James and Sarah. Moving along with Michael Knight, in Public Works.
Yes, to my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, this property is currently served with can service, or is it a bin service? For refuse, I'm sorry.
Can.
Okay. So depending on what the growth aspect of the business is, should you exceed the exemption to be able to use can service, at some point in time, if it continues to grow in waste disposal, there may be a point in time in which we would need to evaluate bin service. But currently, I'm not aware of any conditions that would trigger a 3-bin trash enclosure. I believe if you're able to operate in the can service, you will be required to have all 3 cans to manage the organic waste recovery, and then also the recycling and general waste. So it looks like we're meeting that currently. If we get to a point in the future, we'll have to discuss a 3-bin trash enclosure for the facility, but I don't see anything triggering that now. On the water side, we need to evaluate this property being served with a backflow device. I'm not aware, staff has not responded to me in regards to the service to the property, but because it's being used as a daycare facility or a school facility, it would kind of trigger a commercial operation, and it would require a backflow device preventer to be installed at your water service. So we'll be looking into that, and we'll provide comment whether or not that is required or not. That's all the comments I have. Happy to answer any questions.
Good, thank you. The only question I would have is whether, and I don't know this, Sharon, you might know this. The cans, are they located typically in the alley, or are they out on the street on North E?
They're located in the alley.
In the alley, okay. Is that something that Public Works would want us to show, or planning, anybody, as far as the location of that, so that it doesn't interfere with anything else?
So the only problem right now with the use is if you're gonna have a lot of traffic coming in and out of there, into that back parking area during days of service, it's gonna create an issue of the serviceability of the property. So if you guys have already established the service being in the rear, and that's working fine, but if we get ourselves to a point where the traffic is increased in the back and we're unable to gain access to those cans, the other option would be to go to the street side service. And I think we can work through that. I think that's just a matter of process. But currently, that's the way I understand it, is they are served in the alley. And until that becomes an obstruction, we can continue to deal with the property owner as it relates to the service. Just knowing that if we're not mindful of that, that could trigger additional charges of go back if we're not able to gain access to the service of the cans.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Next with David, if any comments?
No, I don't have any comments. I believe Mike covered everything. Thank you.
Thank you, David. That's pretty much all the comments in regards to the project from staff. Are there any additional questions that the applicant may have for the committee?
I do, and obviously Sharon, if you do also, please let us know. But the one comment, because we are going to be required to modify the CUP, and
Correct.
obviously everything takes time. So my question would be, if we wanted to move forward with plans, submittal and all that, would that trigger us not being able to, or can we work together, doing both at the same time?
Yeah, we could process both simultaneously. Again, whichever square footage we're taking to council, we want to make sure that doesn't change from the building permit application. And as far as timeline, I think we could possibly get you to council once the application has been submitted, the fees associated with that modification. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but the modification fee of this conditional use permit is $150. It will require public hearing notice. We could process the 300-foot radius maps and labels on behalf of the applicant for a fee of $26.50. We could make the determination for a notice of exemption. That's $79 for staff to prepare. So once we get those fees with the application, I think we could get it to council earliest second meeting in September to get you that approval.
Okay, yep, thank you. I guess Sharon and I could talk about timelines and all that stuff, but I did wanted to ask that so that way she can be aware of possible just timing wise, possible timing.
Correct. Other than that, are there any additional questions at this time?
None for me.
None for me.
Okay, perfect. So we'll compile these comments from staff in a letter in about 2 to 4 weeks. In order to, we'll mail that over and also email you a copy. Again, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. And then I'll be the assistant on that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Moving along, item number 2 that we have on today's agenda is Project Review Committee number 2022-020, which is a city-initiated project for a zone change general plan amendment from general service commercial to parks and recreational facilities. The subject area is located on the southeast corner of Henderson Avenue and 4th Street. As far as planning's comments, again, we're gonna have to process a zone change and also a general plan amendment that does require a public hearing notice, and it does require discretionary approval from city council. Let me share the preliminary site plan that we have available. Again, as far as any other comments from staff, planning at this time is just basically complying with the development ordinance in regards to our parking area design, the setbacks associated with any structures, landscaping, complying with section 303 of the development ordinance, parking again, complying with section 304. Floor area ratio for the PK zone district is 10%. So we want to make sure that we the building does not exceed that percentage, which I believe what we're proposing at this time would not exceed that ratio. Possibly a merger or lot merger to combine both lots may be required, or maybe an option if we do want to move forward with that. But other than that, that's pretty much the planning comments at this time. I'm gonna go ahead and move it along with Clayton.
Fire doesn't really have any comments at this phase. We'll be more involved as they start to actually develop the site.
Thank you, Clayton. Next with James in building.
Same comments as Clayton, just standard plan submittal. I wasn't here during pre-PRC and I didn't get a good chance to look at it, but I'm guessing the community center is gonna be sprinklered. Yeah, Donnie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 18,000 square feet, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah, other than that, no other comment.
Thank you, James. Next with Donnie.
Just here to try to answer any questions. Parks definitely approves the project.
Sounds good. Thank you, Donnie. Next with Sarah.
Same answer as Donnie. Engineering definitely approves it since we've been assigned the task of helping deliver it, so we're good with it.
Thank you, Sarah. Next with Michael.
Yeah, just same general comments, 3-bin trash enclosure. One of the things I do want to point out in the project, which I'm sure is already being addressed, is the water service. So having a water service for the facility itself as far as domestic side, and then a separate meter for the irrigation. Given regulations that are coming down, we are going to need to start accounting for water use for landscape and indoor use. So providing those 2 meters is going to be essential in any commercial property moving forward. So just, I'm sure it's already being addressed, just verbalizing it for the project.
Thank you, Mike. It's already on my list.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. I think that's pretty much it. As far as next steps, it would require for a public hearing notice, of course, for the zone change to Parks and Recreation, also the general plan amendment. I think we could get it to council September, maybe first meeting, second meeting in September to process that.
Sounds good.
Oh,
Thank
no,
you.
wait. Well, yeah. Other than that, are there any questions from the public in regards to the project here on Henderson and 4th Street?
I have a question as public. What's
Go ahead.
the estimated for the city? What's the estimated time they want this to be all done?
It's the grant funding we received requires it to be open to the public by March 31st of 25.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Other than that, looks like we're good to move forward. If there's any other questions from the public, looks like we might not. I'm gonna go ahead and close today's project review committee meeting at 2:02 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Oscar.
Thank you. Bye-bye.